other in this training field, right? So on today, I take this privilege to introduce Surbi Satish Madam. She is from ISTD Pune chapter and has a various roles like industrial organization psychologist, software engineer, trainer, content writer, and today she'll be discussing with us on leadership and the new normal. And Surbi Satish is a highly organized and diligent professional with 9 years of extensive experience in diverse domains, including logistic management, training and development, academics, research, content development, HR, and administration. She is passionate about facilitation and always eager to learn. Has demonstrated skills in leading teams, coordination, research, communication skills, analytical skills, presentation skills, and various collaboration to ensure delivery of exemplary standards of design and implementation. We welcome you all again, and I request Surbi Madam to take this session forward. Please, Madam, you can share the PPTs as well. Please.
Thank you, sir, for the introduction. I will need a full 1 hour for the session, so I'll straight away start. And I'll share my screen. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Am
yes,
I
please.
audible to all? Yeah.
Please go
Thank
ahead.
you. I'm sharing the screen. Yeah, yeah. I want to share the screen, sir. You have disabled me. Can you please enable?
Just a second. Just a second. You are host now, so you can share the screen, please.
Okay. I hope my screen is visible to all.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll start. The topic of discussion for today's forum is leadership and the new normal in times of ambiguity and risk. So we'll be covering this session in two halves. In one session, first half, I'll be talking about leadership, and in the second half, I'll be talking about the new normal. So the learning objective for the session will be to provide the audience with a basic understanding of the leadership styles so that they can think and choose as well as exercise towards depth creation in order to induce clarity. The session flow will be something like this. We'll take up definitions, go through a few of the leadership styles. I'll be discussing the situational leadership model, and there'll be suggestions for better leadership skills in highly ambiguous conditions. There'll be a real life case study, a current case study of the telecom industry. If time permits, we'll go for a small quiz. So I'll start with a story. The year was 1993 and the place was Amritsar, or to be specific, the tarmac of the Amritsar airport. There was a flight that is IC427 that had taken off from Delhi and it was to land at Srinagar, but it was hijacked mid-air and they diverted it towards Kabul in Afghanistan. But the Pakistani airspace didn't allow them to enter, so they landed on Amritsar airport tarmac for refueling. Okay, so you must be wondering why I am taking up this old story. It has to deal with one individual. I want to talk about Mr. KPS Gill, or the late Mr. KPS Gill. At that time when this incident happened, he was the chief of the police staff of Punjab, IG Punjab Police. So when this incident happened, the bureaucracy immediately swung into action and there were discussions, and it was decided that one of them would go to negotiate with the hijackers. Now, there were many of them volunteered, there were many suggestions, many choices. But then among all this, Gill stood up. He said, look, I am the top cop of this state. It is my responsibility to take care of the security and safety of the citizens of this land. So I will go. And so it was agreed that he would be going. And then they suggested that he take someone along. He said, no, I wouldn't at all be willing to risk the lives of my teammates or my colleagues. It is me and me alone who will go and face the hijackers. This is what he did. He just went into the den of the hijackers alone, unarmed. He was 55 plus at that time, and the hijackers were in their prime. He didn't bother about that. Didn't bother about the weapons they had. He went unarmed. He held the hijackers for a good 6 hours negotiation till the SPG commandos came, and then the rest is history. They conducted operation. It was not a single hostage was harmed. So here we can talk about the leadership qualities of Mr. Gill. He was committed, he was passionate, he stood up for what he said, my responsibility. So I will go. Standing up for his teammates. I would never want to risk the lives of my teammates or my colleagues. Leading from the front. This is what the qualities of some very good leaders. There's a very good article about KPS Gill if anybody is interested. It was written by Shekhar Gupta for India Today. You can either scout the net or I can forward it to you if you want. You can just contact me. The next example that I'm taking is of Virat Kohli. It is a more relatable example. If there are my young friends over there, they will be able to relate it more closely. The world over, everyone is awed by Virat's cricketing skills, but equally impressive are his leadership skills. This was more of a manifestation during the ICC World Cup cricket of 2019. Okay, so there was this incident when Shikhar Dhawan was the star player opening. Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit Sharma were the opening pair, and Shikhar got injured and he had to be replaced. One more player had to be replaced. That was Bhuvneshwar Kumar. He had to be replaced. So the selectors had given many choices, and there were much deliberation. But Virat stuck. Stuck to his stand. He said, "I want two players." Even though one of them hadn't performed well in IPL, he said, I would even then vouch for this. I believe in them and I want them, notwithstanding the opposition they had. Remember, the dreams of 1 million or 1 billion people rested on the shoulders of the cricket team, and particularly the captain. One wrong choice and everybody would blame him. Virat was full of conviction. He chose Vijay Shankar and KL Rahul in place of the replaced batsman and the bowler and the fielder respectively. And they on the sidelines, never insecure that somebody else will take his achievement. Again, a true quality of a very good leader, right? He is always a team player. During the entire tournament, if you look at his scores, he was happy because he always goes for maximum. He can carry a game entirely on his shoulders. That is a kind of personality or aura or the cricketing genius that he is. But then he was happy rotating the strikes, going for ones and twos, and giving the maximums or the boundaries to play to his to the plans, bringing up the others, making way for the younger lot, developing them, allowing them to groom or allowing them to be in their own shoes and potential. That is what the qualities of a good leader are, right? This Bonhomie, that and even in the dressing room, he was quite vocal about what he expects from each of his players. It was quite rare in the cricketing history of India till then, right? He openly supported Kuldeep Yadav, who otherwise had a very bleak IPL season. He said, no, I support your bowling, and he did very well, Kuldeep Yadav, if you look at the statistics of the tournament. So he was actually defining the roles or the KRS or the KPS that each of the player would be showing, right? So these are from Virat from Gill's example, we can take quite a few, what do you call, characteristics of great leaders. That was the purpose of introducing these two examples, like commitment, passion, conviction, dedication, then what do you call, reaching out, leading from the front, being team players and all. So now we'll move ahead. We'll start with, if I ask you what is leadership, I don't want any flashy definitions. Can I get some answers? Can we make this a little interactive? Hello? Hello? Am I audible? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, madam, you are audible. Yeah. Please.
Yeah. So can anybody tell me, give a very basic example of what is leadership? Can we have it a little interactive way? Okay. What is leadership actually? If I say the most basic, notwithstanding any sophisticated definitions that different thinkers, different writers have given, I would say leadership is influencing, right? Now, influencing whom? Influencing, it could be either an individual or a group. Now, why would you influence an individual or a group? That is for the sake of task accomplishment. You need a work to be done, a piece of work to be done, and for that you tell a subordinates, भाई आपको ये करना है, तुम्हारे आ करवानु छे, करी आपो माने, बराबर? So that is for the sake of goal attainment. And why do you want a goal to be achieved in terms of organizational setup? Because you need to meet the organizational objectives. Objectives are laid by the organization, and you need to meet that. Okay, for that you work towards task accomplishment. So these two very basic definitions. Leadership is the process of influencing the an individual or a group in order to accomplish goals towards the meeting of organizational objectives, right? I'll go through very basic few leadership styles. These are the three basic ones given by Kurt Lewin around the 1930s: the authoritarian, democratic, and the laissez-faire leadership styles. Now, what is an authoritarian leadership? In an authoritarian leadership, all powers rest with the leader. એવું હોય કે હું તમને જે કહીશ તમારે કરી આપવાનું રહેશે. Whatever I say, you will have to do it for me, or you will have to accomplish the task. Task completion होना चाहिए कैसे भी आपकी तरफ, मैं जिस तरह चाहूँ वैसे होना चाहिए. What to do, when to do, how to do, in which manner to do, everything is directed by the leader. He doesn't involve his team, such a leader doesn't involve his team into decision making, nor does take any feedback from them at any point of work process. Neither does he give any input to them regarding their working styles or work inputs, right? So they are constantly under direct supervision, and there is only one-way communication, that is top to bottom, from leader to the subordinates. Two-way communication is zero. So in the long run, the followers working under such a leader, in the long run, they become deficient towards working independently, खुद से काम करना, because they are always used to getting directed. कैसे getting directed? So they are very poor at decision making and face challenges in taking conference issues and taking challenging tasks. So world over, many dictators, any Hitler, Mussolini, Saddam Hussein, King Jong-un, and may I say Donald Trump also, and many more. So, but it is not always that this type of leadership is not always harmful. It is beneficial also. Now, in which conditions is authoritarian leadership beneficial? It is beneficial in places where strict procedures have to be followed and there is no room for errors, right? In maybe quality control, you need to follow the norms which are laid down. In armed forces, there are strict protocols which cannot be broken. Or in manufacturing, maybe if I talk about an alloy steel industry, the furnace has to be heated to a particular temperature, तो heat करना ही है, हम उसको कम ज़्यादा या नहीं कर सकते. The mixing of metals, the percentage of metals in certain cases, or the temperature, they need to be maintained in the way that had to be maintained. So उसमें error possible नहीं है. So in that cases, authoritarian leadership helps greatly. Similarly, when the leader is a subject matter expert, he is the best to guide something. In those cases, authoritarian leadership may be beneficial because he has the complete know-how, or he is the best competence available in the market for that particular task. So in such cases, authoritarian leadership works. The next is democratic leadership. It is totally opposite of the authoritarian one. Such a leader is a participative or the collaborative types where सबको involve करके if a decision has to be taken, gets the opinion of the team members, arrives at a consensus, and then goes for decision making. Overall, he's very supportive, encouraging, empowering, and accommodative. We have many democratic leaders, world famous democratic leaders names available. Some of them are this Indra Nooyi, the chairman and CEO of PepsiCo, Ginny Rometty, the CEO of IBM, Muhtar Kent, chairman and CEO of Coca-Cola. Famous organizations around the world which demonstrate democratic leadership environment is Google, Twitter, Amazon, and the many. Among this, I would like to bring to notice about Ginny Rometty. See, in the 90s, she is responsible for the IBM turnaround. IBM was mainly into hardware business, the main frames, the servers, and actually the vision initially was invention of the technology, right? And they did pretty well in the first few years, and there was a lot of competition. Business started declining. It was on the company was on the verge of going bankruptcy, and then they strategized and they changed their vision. Why not making technology? So they changed the vision to usage of technology. हम टेक्नोलॉजी बना तो रहे हैं पर उसे यूज कैसे करना है, हम we will be focusing on that. That is, they went into data centers or server managements. Companies, good companies or the best companies of the world have their server managements or data centers with with IBM. It is like you are आपने annual maintenance contract करवाया है आपका PC का, उससे कुछ भी होता है तो आप उस बंदे को बुलाते हो and he does the work, right? So same is the case. You have big like banks or telecom, they have huge data requirements. They need servers and very powerful servers and mainframes and microcomputers and the kind. There are specifications to be maintained for server setups and so all that is handled by IBM. You just give them you just entrust them with the responsibility. Your entire data warehouse is managed by IBM, and it is doing very well. They are also into, because of this management or maintenance or contract type of things, they are also able to sell more of the servers. So now they are totally out from the retail of their hardware, but then they are into server management or data management. The third type is laissez-faire leader. Laissez-faire leader is a leader who goes for delegative leadership. He gives free hand, total free hand to its subordinates in decision making. The followers have to solve their own problems. The leader doesn't get much involved into with the participants, right? So at the time, most of the times it leads to low productivity, reduced group cohesion, because there's nobody to monitor the group. So as a result, the motivation or the focus tends to waver when there's nobody to monitor. But it is motivated and focused and capable of working independently. For example, I can tell you, a team member comes to you and says, the way the team structure has been set out is not as productive as it could be. So they request the leader if they could restructure the team. So a laissez-faire leader would first listen to the team and then suggest that they get it done, solved in their own approachable way or the best way that they can get things done. He won't get involved. He is concerned with the owns close to 60 companies, many big names. Duracell is one of them. And, his criteria is that at the selection itself, he tries to hire very creative people, creative individuals. So he says to it that because of the creative side, they're more motivated, they're more innovative, and they go for task accomplishment. So far, he has been successful. He's 89 now. Another type of leadership is transactional leadership. Now, what is a transactional leadership like? It is sort of day-to-day task accomplishment. A leader who doesn't challenge the status quo. जो चल रहा है routine में वैसे ही चलने दो. And he goes for reward if the rewards the employees, his subordinates if they failure would surely lead to punishment. So so such a leader sees that there is a smooth flow of procedures or resources, nothing new, nothing unusual, nothing out of the out of the blue or something. Normal routine day to day management affairs jo hota hai, that is done by, it was proposed by Max Weber, and we can say that most of the sports coaches or the military heads function in this way. Next is transformational. A transformational leader, now these are the go-getters. They challenge the status quo, or what you call break the glass ceilings, or they are the change makers. They actually take the organization from the current stage to a future perceived stage. Okay, so great transformational changes are brought within the organizational when such leaders are encountered, and they also motivate their subordinates to get the best out of them. वो अपने team members को भी इतना motivate करते हैं that they are able to get the best, produce their best. For this kind of leader, I will not go to any celebrity around the world example. I would go for a very local example, which most of the people from Gujarat would be very famous with. Karsanbhai Patel. I hope everybody knows him. Or should I say, the founder chairman of the Nirma Group. If anybody knew that, he started his career as a lab assistant with, he was a chemistry graduate, and then he worked with the state government as a lab technician. So आफ्टर कमिंग होम उन्होंने क्या किया, उनके घर के बैकयार्ड में ही स्टार्टेड प्रोड्यूसिंग मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फॉस्फेट फ्री पाउडर्स. Okay, these were very hand friendly, environment friendly, and they were labor intensive. See, so Nirma could employ large number of cater to large number of labor needs when it was set up. And unki strategy, see, he didn't study marketing, but I could say he was a great marketing, or he is a great marketing exponent. जो बनाते थे पाउडर उन्होंने, he priced them at 3 rupees a packet. ठीक है, so this the cheapest powder available at that time, that was around 13 rupees, so 1/3 price of the cheapest powder available in the market. Look at the strategy. Then अब वो बेचेंगे कहाँ, वेयर विल ही सेल इट, વેચશે ક્યાં, સવારથી સાંજ તો ઓફિસમાં હોય છે, તો પછી વેચશે ક્યાં? Okay, where would he sell them? So for that he found another novel idea. So the distance from his office to home to office was around 17 kilometers, and वो bicycle पे जाते थे. तो एन रूट जो भी सारी विलेजेस आती थी, वहां पे वो अपना पाउडर बेचते थे. He used to sell Nirma there. See, with the strategy, no extra time, no extra efforts, no finding customers, en route सब हो जाता था. Slowly, presently, if you see, Karsanbhai Patel's net worth is around 350 crore US dollars, or 350 billion US dollars, right? And Nirma has diversified into toilet soaps, packaged food, cements, fertilizers, and whatnot. And one more thing is that there was a time when, because see, when Nirma gave a tough competition to the MNCs like Hindustan Lever, because that was at the time in the surf from Hindustan Lever was a market leader, but it was a little costlier. The middle class couldn't afford that. So Nirma was pocket friendly also, and environmental friendly, safe for the hands and all. So it rose in popularity. ऐसा हुआ एक टाइम में, the demand rose so much, like it was uncontrollable for Nirma to at least cater called back all the products from the market. सारे जो नीमा के प्रोडक्ट्स से मार्केट्स उन्होंने
I think Madam is disconnected with us due to internet. So you have to just wait for 2 minutes. Request all of you to be with us.
Leadership style based on the subordinates readiness level as well as the skill level. Okay, so when there are four leadership styles in this model, that is S1, S2, S3, S4, and the readiness levels of the subordinates are shown by R1, R2, R3, R4, right? So S1 is a telling style in which maybe when a new employee is join an organization, he doesn't know anything about the organization, so the leader needs to guide him, telling him. It is a sort of directing behavior or the telling style. What to do, where to do, when to do, everything is told by the leader. That is S1. And when the second is S2. S2 in this, the leader, when the employee spend considerable some time in the organization, he is conversant with the ways of working or has learned quite a few things. So here the leader has to take a supportive approach or a selling approach, and he needs to direct the employee or the follower, but he also needs to explain him the whys and whens of taking a particular decision. Okay, so here the two-way communication is very high between the leader and the subordinate. The third leadership style is S3, or it is called a participatory style or a coaching style, in which the employee, after spending considerable time in the organization, has learned quite a few things. Most of the things he has attained the knowledge and skill, and he's almost ready to take charge. So the leader uh, starts preparing him for the next role, or starts accommodating him within the decision making process में involve करने की वो तैयारी कर लेते हैं readers. Okay, this is called a sort of coaching or participating style. The fourth style is the S4 style, which is called the delegating style. The follower has spent quite a lot of time in the organization. He has learned everything and acquired the requisite knowledge, skills, and willingness to do the task autonomously or independently. He can work without the leader support now. So here now the leader has full faith in the follower, and so he will delegate powers and allow him to go for decision making. So this can be shown by um, a matrix, 2 by 2 matrix, in which this can be shown by a 2 by 2 matrix. See here, first is the telling style S1, selling S2, participating S3, and delegating S4, right? So when skill levels की बात कर रहे हैं, तो R1 में जब when the person is R1 level पे क्या होता है, the person is just entered the organization, he is very low on skills and competences, so he is not in a position to take up any task, so he has to be directed by the leader. That is S1 होना चाहिए यहाँ पे. When R2 level, when he reaches R2 level, means he is has learned quite a few things. So काफी थोड़ा बहुत सीखने के बाद he has got the motivation, but still skill set तो अभी complete नहीं हुई है. So he needs to be given moderately difficult task. He is not in a position to take a very difficult task. Okay, and R3 में again he has sharpened his skills, but he is in a position to take up tasks which are higher in difficulty level than R2. And at R4 he is totally ready, he is highly capable, his skill set is also developed, so he can take tasks with high difficulty levels, right? So now we are going to second part of the session, that is new normal. In the past few months we have seen, heard a lot of things. We have been doing a lot of things which we have not done earlier. Like we would not have thought that working from home would be a common or convenient or option that all the organizations around the world would be following, right? And we would also have not thought that a mask would be an important part of our wardrobe. हमने ये नहीं सोचा था कि हम हमेशा बाहर निकलेंगे तो मास्क पहनकर ही निकलेंगे, right? So these are the changes, this and many more changes that the pandemic has brought within us. So organizations the worldwide are reeling, bleeding. They are short of work, they are short of investment, they are short of opportunities and work. So they need to think out of the box or be in line with the current situation and move ahead, because this will continue for quite some time. And what we have seen is that they were traditional office spaces, like office. Every organization would have an office whose office में employees होते थे and the required infrastructure for carrying out the work, right? But now with the pandemic, we are not able to go to work, we are not able to go out. So what about traditional office spaces? Are they required now? Are they actually? Because there's a survey around the world in the last 3 months, working from home optingly agar aap dekho, it has been found through the survey that this work from home productivity levels of individuals or the people have in the strata of about 80 to 85%. That is not at all a bad score, right? So in the recent, if I tell you about the most recent example, Chennai based Kevin Care has what do you call, stopped, or they had 4 offices in the Chennai itself. They had shut down all the 4 office spaces and are going for permanent work from home options for their employees, right? And similarly, many industries or many organizations are following suit. Work from home को permanent बनाते हैं. So then, but work from home में सारी facilities है कि आप इनका video conferencing है, call conferencing and everything you can do at home. That is okay. But there are certain tasks, right? Certain tasks that which need physical presence and brainstorming. So उन दिनों के लिए it may not be sufficient for a video conferencing to arrive at a consensus or a decision. So for certain that task, people or organizations worldwide would not be preferring in the coming days traditional office spaces. In turn, we have the concept called shared workspaces. Shared workspaces, the WeWork co-work concept. इसमें क्या होता है, the WeWork co-work concept में they provide you with an already rented office space. Like for example, if there are 200 employees in a firm, तो 100 को work from home options दे दिया, the next 100 को वो लोग rotate करेंगे every day, like 20% 20 people have to come to office. In 20 people, they don't need an office building with a 10-story high or with all the running machinery. No, they won't go. WeWork co-work or the shared workspaces are the perfect solution because they provide you with a rented office space complete with all the amenities required to run an office. That is the required furniture, the Wi-Fi connection, the Ethernet connectivity. They have provided you with drawers with locks, the water, the parking facilities, everything for meeting rooms, wellness programs, employee engagement programs. You can rent it across for the time that you required, for the time that your organization requires, right? As per your convenience, as per your demand. So it reduces so much cost, it causes so much cost optimization for the organization. Imagine for multinational companies who are having whole of buildings like for their office spaces, they are cutting down on costs. They are saving on rents, they are saving on electricity, they are saving on equipments like air conditionings and printers and scanners and what do you call the computers, the furniture, the housekeeping charges, the canteen facilities. All this can be done away with. So there is a lot of cost optimization. So in the rule the roast, and I think traditional office spaces will be a thing of the past, not immediately, but gradually though. Then there is the internal customer first strategy for all the success stories around the world, right? So what most of the organizations are focused on, that is the customer first, the employee first, customer second, and shareholder third, right? So in this cases, why would the organizations go for employee first? See, a satisfied employee would do everything possible or would do everything which is within and above his limits to keep his professional work going, to keep the name of the organization, to keep his services afloat to the customers, right? If an employee feels that he is taken care for by the organization, he would go out of the way to do his work. That means his productivity levels will be increased. If his productivity levels will increase, that will be reflected in the customer satisfaction that the organization caters to right? And when the customers are satisfied, they increase the brand value of the organization, they increase the goodwill, the image, reflect in the shareholder satisfaction. So the first and foremost criteria that the company should focus on is to keep their internal customer satisfied. That is, the internal customer is their employees. They should keep their employees satisfied. They should take care of their employees. But because of the current pandemic, because of the current what do you call scenario, most of the companies, they are not looking at this aspect. They are going for short-term gains, going for layoffs, and employee cutting, pink slips, and so. But it is not necessary कि आप lay off करो. जरूरी नहीं है lay off के बिना भी you can go for cost optimizations. One option that available here is like, if you're going for cost optimization, then क्या कर सकते हैं, like you can waive off the variable pay that you are providing to your employees. For example, if you're giving 20% bonus, so for 1 or 2 years maybe आप 20% bonus को आप waive कर दीजिए, so you are saving on that part, the company is saving 20%. Then the employees, if you call them and ask them, give the choice, do you want to be laid off or are you willing to work at a reduced pay? So in any case, in the current troubled, uncertain, ambiguous situations where markets, where the recruitments are freezed off in all the sectors across the world, no employee would say no for a pay cut. Rather than being laid off, they would prefer to work at a lower salary. So straight away, if you look, in this case, the organization is saving 50% of its cost anyway. With the talent intact, retained, they are having the expertise of the employee that has worked, who has worked with them for so long, or whatever be his area of expertise. The company is conversant with his, so this would be a resource utilization or resource optimization also, in addition to cost optimization. There is a very popular story about, or case study about HCL Computers during the 2008 or 2009 major IT recession हुआ था the world over. HCL was the only company that posted profits. It was so successful. This is the same way they went for salary cuts and all those things. So you can read about it. It has been developed into a famous HBR, Harvard case review. So HCL turned the tide around without layoffs and pink slips, even in times of the Great Depression of 2008-2009. A few pointers for leaders to manage in times of the current pandemic. When I say, the whole environment is so unsettling within the households, around the organizations, in the political front, the world over, everything seems to be very disturbed and unsettling. So people, all the employees, but natural, would be in a state of uncalm or afraid nerves. So the leader, even if the leader himself is in such a state, he needs to project a calm demeanor in front of his followers, because if the leader falls frail, then the team would collapse, right? So he needs to project a calm demeanor in front and take care of his team so that they can function to their maximum potential. The second point that I would like to point out is confidence. Confidence, it comes in continuation with the first point. He has to maintain his calm and project a confident personality or confident exterior to the team, giving them confidence, because they must be struggling with a lot of things. Many people are not, they are social beings, they are not comfortable sitting at one place and working round the corner. They need people around them. There are people who are want to work in a team, physical teams. That is not possible. एक ही जगह पे बैठे without meeting anyone, the social distancing is taking a toll on them. There must be many insecurities that is working onto them. So a leader has to instill confidence in them. Okay, otherwise their productivity levels will be hampered. So it is communicate to the core. Like, communicate precisely, aptly. The more they communicate, the more the better, because the leader is a face of, should be the face of the management's decision to the employee. So he needs to communicate proactively. Collaboration between teams should be increased. The leader should see that there is more and more collaboration, because virtual the people are sitting remotely and working, so more of collaboration is required. Expertise, earlier when there was traditional office, so everyone would be available under one roof. Now they need to collaborate and intervene and function. So next is compassion, or should I say empathy. Empathy is a very important quality that a leader should very important quality that the leader should project, because there may be an employee, there must be an employee who is he is not able to manage them, so maybe, or a colleague who is finding difficulty with managing their case. So in such cases the leader can be a little considerate and give them relaxed timings, or whatever the options are working for them. Next is cash. Cash is very important for the organization, because the employees need the money, the functioning of the organization itself needs money. So it's the leader's responsibility, or the manager or the management's responsibility, to see that cash flow is intact, cash flow is continuous, and the coffers are not empty. Right, we'll quickly take a very important case study of the current times, how one of the leading telecom operators handle the current pandemic situation. This happened in the state of Maharashtra. I won't name the telecom operator, but as soon as the lockdown was imposed, the telecom services was included in the Essential Services Act, right? So telecommunication companies were working. But see, how this telecom firms function is that most of them outsource their call center operations or back office operations to IT companies, or IT enabled industries, I should say, or the call centers, or BPOs जो हम कहते हैं. So this BPOs, they were not covered under the essential services list. So they were shut down. So now all the touch points that a customer could have with the company, उनकी जो भी complaints थी, जिस तरह से सारे वो तरीके, जिस तरह से वो customer अपने company telecom operator तक पहुंच सके, सारे बंद थे. So the customer complaints spiked around 5 times. The normal day, on a normal day, जो 8,000 to 10,000 के उस पे आता था, तो 50 to 60,000 तक पहुंच गए थे. But there was no way that they would, because companies were down, the shutters were down, खोल ही नहीं सकते थे. The lockdown was by the management team, and they decided that they would try to transport the systems. Okay. Transport the systems from the to the houses of the employees. Imagine, so from the DOT, as well as the what do you call Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, the Chief Minister's office, everything was arranged. The systems were taken. Now transportation was an issue. Lockdown hai to police was not at all budging. With special police escorts, this systems were the offices were open. The systems were transported. They were sensitized. Days of the lockdown, the team started functioning all again to that full capacity. Now it's business as usual, or BAU for the team. Still they are working this way under stringent conditions. So now I think I'm finished with the session for the day. Can we take up a quiz, small quiz, that I think we still have 5 minutes, and then I can quickly move to the question answer session if anybody wants to ask me anything. So, if I ask you to describe leadership in one word, then what would it be? It would be a skill. What is leadership? A skill, attitude, or a knowledge? What is it? Anyone?
I think it will be skill.
Attitude.
And why? Yes. Anyone would like to answer? Um, so see, in any field, objectivity is better because we have all the models, theories, and research is done with what do you call it? Established or printed proof. So objectivity is better in any field. So in leadership also, one should be objective. Now I'll skip this to first. I'll go to the last question. Can leadership effectiveness be measured? Can leadership effectiveness be measured? Yes, leadership effectiveness can be available, and they have been tested for their validity and reliability as well as internal consistency. And this can be used to measure the effectiveness of the leadership. Okay, so now I would skip to the earlier two questions. EQ and leader. EQ is the emotional constant. I'm running short of time, so I'll be going a little fast for these 2 points. EQ and leadership. So EQ is what? EQ means understanding one's own emotions as well as the emotions of the people around you. Very important for a leader. Now EQ is required at which level? The mid managerial level or the senior management level? More required. They are more required at the mid management level. Because why? Because the middle level managers have to cater to their followers. They need to get work done from their subordinates, as well as they need to present the same to their superiors. So they are more into people management. They need to be very much in possession of high EQ skills, else things may go awry. Second is SQ and leadership. While for just a moment, for higher management teams, EQ का know-how होना जरूरी है. They need to have a basic understanding of EQ, but they are more concerned with governance, with policy matters, with ruthless decision making. So they should be more conversant with SQ. SQ का ज़्यादा, and they should be more in possession of SQ. EQ, just a working knowledge of EQ is enough for higher level or the top level management. What is SQ actually? SQ means the holistic, holistic approach. Whatever you have and how you use them. At the top, you have an access to lot many resources, lot many there is power, there is resource, there is application. So at times what happens, we don't tend to look them in a holistic way. SQ doesn't mean in any way about spirituality. It is about the religiosity. It is a spiritual context, means the holistic view of what you have and how you use them. Remember R. Raju of Satyam Computers, how everything was messed up, or Vijay Mallya of Kingfisher Airlines, or you can say this.
Hello. I think Madam lost the internet connection with us. Right. So just to take in between time, so I just wanted to have the words from all the participants about this session. Because she is about to conclude the session, right? Nataraj sir, your point, please.
Yeah, good evening, Raju ji. Good evening. It's a very wonderful session. Many NC member participate. Sholil Chatterjee, Mr. Shukla, R.C. Shukla, P. Mohan Nayar, and other people I have seen. Fantastic session. Anand chapter is very core of my mind. Every day, every week they are doing many programs. Rajuji's leadership. Anand chapter is going day by day a second stage. Thank you, Rajuji, and ISTD National Office, and also on behalf of National President, I hope that your leadership, Anand chapter will go more and more and better across the all ISTD chapter. Thank you, Rajuji. I have attended your one program as a regional program last year, and I have seen that your capability to bring all the good leaders across the West and done a very good program. So this year also we are expecting some program, Rajuji. We are
Yes.
doing, we have supported you. You do some program, National Office will do with you. Whatever the support you require, National Office will do, sir. This year 2021, Rajuji will do another program, Anand, and we'll go there together. All of the NC members, if required, we can do the NC Council meeting also there, and also we do the program. Thank you, Rajuji, and I am happy that you are doing a very good and extremely interactive session, many programs. Thank you, Rajuji.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. Raju sir has to leave for the another program, so he is not with us at present. But on ISTD, Anand sure that we will try to do more program for the national one, which we had done last time. And Subi madam is again with us. Madam, we had just taken in between time, so as you lost the connections, and I believe you were supposed to conclude the part, right? If you wanted to add something, Survi madam, please. Madam, you have to unmute yourself.
Okay. No,
Yes,
thank you.
please.
I just concluded with my session, and thankful to ISTD Anand for giving this opportunity. I hope if there are any questions, then I would like to take them and would like to have feedback regarding the session. How was it?
Feedback, madam. Madam, I am Dr. Nataraja, National President of ISTD. I can
Good
already
evening,
written. Good evening. I have already written. It's a wonderful session. We have generally see that one or two leadership, that is a authoritative leadership, democratic leadership, all these things. But you have given a vast leadership style and others. This is a new learning for all the students, also the senior people, like also a very good elaboration you have given. I hope every ISTD members, basically the other members will be benefited. We have with us the very senior member, R.C. Shukla from Pune, also National Council member Sholil Chatterjee, Mr. P. Nayar of the Trivandrum, all the senior members with us. So everybody admire your topics and your elaboration, and also your description of the leadership. So we have learned a thing. Thank you very much. ISTD bring the ISTD in other program also national level, because we need the leadership like you, the young leadership who will join ISTD to bring the ISTD to the next level. Thank you for your thing, and also thank you, Purohitji. Purohitji, I hope you are the Anand chapter.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You are Anand chapter in which position? Secretary or something else, or members?
Sir, as a member at present, live member.
Yes,
right.
Live member. So I have seen another Mr. Bhora is there.
Yes, sir. Bhagirath sir is there, and some of the members has joined and due to it's a heavy rain going on in Vidyanagar, right? Some members has to leave maybe due to internet connections. Bhagirath sir, you wanted to share something, Bhagirath sir?
Yeah,